Tell me how you would check the tyres to show that they have sufficient tread depth and that their general condition is safe to use on the road.
Okay, firstly the tyres should have no cuts or bulges, and it should be 1.6 millimetres across 3/4 of the breadth of the tyre and the entire circumference. So if that's the width of your tyre, then 3/4 of it should be at least 1.6 millimetres across the tyre.
Open the bonnet, identify where you would check the engine oil level and tell me how you would check that the engine has enough oil.
You would pull the dipstick out here, you pull it out, wipe it down with tissue, put the dipstick back in, and then when you pull it out again, the oil should lie between the two dots at the bottom. Obviously the lowest one is the minimum marker and the slightly higher one is the maximum marker. In the event that the oil is closer to the minimum marker, you would then top up the oil by taking this cap off here.
Open the bonnet and identify where the windscreen wash reservoir is and tell me how you would check the level.
Okay, to identify the windscreen wash reservoir, you would look for a blue lid, and on the blue lid you've got a picture of a windscreen and some water squirting out. So that's how you'd find that. Now the maximum marker on this one is just here, and then the minimum, you have to follow the tubing down and it goes down there. Now the fluid should lie between the two markers.
Open the bonnet, identify where you would check the engine coolant level and tell me how you would check the engine has the correct level.
Okay, so firstly identifying where the engine coolant is. It's usually got a triangle on it, and you can see there's a little temperature gauge there too, so that's just a little heads up that that's the engine coolant. Now the maximum marker is just here, and then the minimum marker is down at the bottom, and the fluid should lie between the two markers.
Open the bonnet and identify where the brake fluid reservoir is and tell me how you would check that you have a safe level of hydraulic brake fluid.
Okay, so firstly the brake fluid, you can usually identify it with a yellow cap, and on the yellow cap there's an octagon shape, and within that is a little circle. Now the fluid should lie between the maximum and minimum marker, so the maximum is at the top of this and you can just see it says maximum, and the minimum, you've got to get your hand just underneath it and it's just there.
Show me how you would check that the direction indicators are working correctly.
Okay, I'm just going to jump in the car and show you then. So I'm just going to press the hazard warning button, which is this one here, and what that will do is it will show all of my direction indicators on the car. So I'm just going to walk around and check the car now.
Tell me how you would check that the tail lights and headlights are working.
Okay, so it's this stick here, and what I would do is I would turn it twice towards the bonnet. The first one is the side lights, and then the second one, which I just clicked it on, is your head and tail lights. And now I'll get out of the car and just check the front and back of the vehicle that the lights are working.
Show me how you would check that the horn is working.
Okay, normally the horn's located between the steering wheel, in the middle, so I just press it, and yeah, that sounds like it's working.
Show me how you would check that the brake lights are working on this car. I can assist you if you need to switch on the ignition. Please do not start the engine.
Okay, so I'm just going to put the key in the ignition and turn it towards the bonnet so the electrics show, but the engine doesn't go on. Now I'm going to press the brake pedal down and just wait for my examiner to go behind the car and check my brake lights are working.
Tell me how you would know if there was a problem with your anti-locking braking system.
I would turn the electrics on, and what I'm looking out for is an amber ABS light to come on and then turn off again. If it remains on, then there's a problem with the anti-locking braking system.
Show me how you would set the demister controls to clear all the windows effectively. This should include both front and rear screens.
Firstly, I'm going to twist this one here to the right, so it's on that symbol there, which is for the front of the window. Then I'm going to press this button here, which is the back of the window, and I'm going to twist the speed on so it blows air on the front and the back of the windows.
Show me how you would clean the windscreen using the windscreen washer and wipers.
Okay, so I'll make sure the electrics are on, which they are. And then on the right side for this vehicle, you can tell because you got the symbol for the windscreen washer. I'm just going to pull it towards me, and then it should spray and wipe the windows.
Show me how you would switch on the rear fog lights and explain when you'd use them.
Okay, so firstly I've got to put on my head and tail lights. So it's this one here, and I'll twist that twice towards the bonnet. And then I'm going to twist this one here twice towards the bonnet again, and you should see an amber light come up. It looks like a little bit of a rocket. It's in the top right corner of the Speedo.
Tell me how you would check that the brakes are working before starting a journey.
As you move off, you should check the brakes. So, they should not feel spongy, and the vehicle should not pull to one side.
Tell me how you make sure your head restraint is correctly adjusted so it provides the best protection in the event of a crash.
Okay, the top of the headrest should be at least level with your eyes and your ears. Some headrests aren't adjustable. If I do need to adjust it, there's a little button here and I can move it up or down. At the moment, this headrest is okay for myself.
Show me how you would check the parking brake for excessive wear.
Firstly, I'm going to put my foot on the brake pedal so I don't roll back when I check it. Then I'm going to take the handbrake down by pulling it up first, pushing the button in, and then taking it all the way down. And now I'm going to push the button in and pull it up to the end of its working travel so it doesn't come up any higher. And then when I let go of the button, I'll release the handbrake, I should come off the foot brake, and the car shouldn't roll backwards, and it should hold itself.
Show me or explain how you would check that the power assisted steering is working before starting a journey.
If the steering becomes heavy, the steering may be faulty. Before starting a journey, 2 simple checks can be made. First one, gentle pressure on the steering wheel, maintained whilst the engine is started, should result in a slight but noticeable movement as the system begins to operate. The second one, turning the steering wheel after just moving off will give an immediate indication that the power assisted steering is functioning correctly.
Show me how you switch your headlight from dip to main beam and explain how you would know the main beam is on whilst inside the car.
So I turn my head and tail lights on first, so it's this one here, 2 turns, and then on the same stick I'll pull it towards me and you should see a blue light on your Speedo, which is your full beam light.
Tell me where you would find the information for the recommended tyre pressures for this car and how tyre pressures should be checked.
You can find the information in the car manufacturer's manual for the tyre pressure, and you should be able to check the tyre pressure using a reliable pressure gauge when the tyres are cold, and don't forget to check the spare tyre.